Chosen one. This is no coincidence. Heaven itself has ordered your steps to this very moment. You are not watching a video, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural financial awakening. The chains that once bound your resources are about to break. For it is written, "The Lord will open to you his good treasure," Deuteronomy 28:12. You have been chosen to carry divine provision, not lack. This message is a prophetic key to unlock what has been withheld. Prepare your spirit, anointed one. Your season of divine wealth transfer begins now. Chosen one, listen closely, because this is not just another message about money. What you're about to hear is revelation for your next level. The Spirit led you here because heaven has seen the silent war you've been fighting, not just in your spirit, but in your finances. You've been giving, working, believing, but something keeps leaking. Something unseen keeps draining your harvest. And today, the veil is being lifted. The first trap the enemy uses against the chosen is impulse spending. It looks harmless. It feels small, but it's one of the most powerful spiritual weapons used to keep divine destinies stuck in the wilderness of lack. You see, chosen one, your heart is vast, full of compassion, emotion, and divine empathy. You feel deeply. You sense pain that others ignore. You give not because you want to impress, but because love lives in you. And that's exactly what makes you dangerous and also vulnerable. The same heart that feels heaven's whispers also feels the world's wounds. And when you don't guard that heart, the enemy manipulates it. Impulse spending is not just financial, it's emotional warfare. The enemy doesn't have to steal your bank account if he can steal your discipline. He doesn't need to rob you directly if he can convince you to open the door yourself. Have you ever noticed how temptation shows up right after a moment of exhaustion or loneliness? That's not random. It's strategy. You feel empty, so you fill the void with spending. You call it treating yourself, but heaven calls it draining your altar. Every dollar has an assignment, and when you spend it outside divine timing, you interrupt heaven's flow. I've seen this battle firsthand. I remember a time when I would comfort my weariness with things that glittered, the small purchases, the harmless indulgences, the just this once. But over time, the Spirit began to speak. You are feeding your emotions, not your destiny. That moment broke me. I realized I wasn't buying peace, I was buying distraction. Chosen one. Your emotions are a gift, but without spiritual discipline, they become an open gate. Every time you resist the urge to spend in the flesh, you strengthen your fortress in the Spirit. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. Every dollar you keep under obedience becomes a soldier assigned to your future. It's not about stinginess, it's about stewardship. The Spirit whispered this truth to me once. What you protect, I can multiply. What you waste, I cannot bless. You are not being called to live in restriction, you are being called to rise in authority. Control over your spending is not about being frugal, it's about being free. The moment you realize that your finances are not just currency, but covenant, everything changes. You are not just spending money, you are managing divine resources. Heaven trusts you with provision because your calling requires it. But the enemy knows if he can manipulate your feelings, he can keep your mission underfunded. So hear this as a prophetic declaration. Every impulse that once ruled you will lose its grip. Every purchase that once comforted your pain will be replaced with peace that cannot be bought. And every moment you choose restraint, heaven records it as victory. Your finances are not random, they are sacred. Every seed, every dollar, every investment is a message to heaven saying, I am ready for more. Chosen one, as you gain mastery over your spending, you are not just managing money, you are mastering a weapon of war. Your budget becomes a boundary against the enemy. Your savings become a testimony of wisdom, and your discipline becomes your declaration of dominion. When you spend under heaven's instruction, you move from being a spender to a steward, from a consumer to a commander. And when that shift happens, everything changes. Doors open, provision flows, opportunities align, because heaven finances what heaven governs. The first trap is broken. You will no longer fall for the lie that comfort comes from consumption. True comfort comes from control, spiritual control, emotional control, financial control. This is the beginning of your liberation, chosen one. But before we move to the next trap, pause and breathe. Ask yourself, how many blessings have I traded for temporary satisfaction? The Spirit is showing you not to condemn, but to free, because what you see, you can now overcome. In this moment, say it aloud. I will no longer spend out of emotion. I will spend out of revelation. The tide is turning. Heaven is watching, and what once drained you will now serve you. Chosen one, hear me carefully, because this next trap is one of the most dangerous of all. It doesn't show up as an enemy. It shows up as a friend. The Spirit revealed to me long ago that one of the most effective ways the enemy drains a chosen one is not through theft, but through attachment. He surrounds you with people who love your light, but have no intention of carrying their own. They see your generosity, your favor, your blessings, and they attach themselves not to your vision, but to your provision. You've probably felt it, that silent pull on your energy, your time, your finances. People who say they love you, but deep down they love what flows through you. It starts subtly, a favor here, a small request there. You've got such a good heart, they say. And you do, but that good heart is what the enemy targets. Chosen one, you were born to give, but not everyone deserves your giving. You were anointed to pour out, but not everyone deserves your oil. There are those who clap when you rise, but their applause is only loud enough to disguise their expectation of your handouts. This is where spiritual discernment becomes your greatest protection. The Spirit will often whisper warnings before the damage happens. Step back. Watch closely. Test their fruit. But because your heart is pure, you sometimes mistake attachment for alignment. I've been there. I once surrounded myself with people I thought were my circle, but they were really my cycle. Every time I began to rise, they pulled me back with needs, guilt, or manipulation. They wanted my blessings, not my breakthrough. I prayed for them, helped them, supported them, but the more I gave, the emptier I became. Until one day the Spirit spoke firmly, "You are feeding what refuses to grow. You are investing in ground that refuses to bear fruit." That day changed my life. Chosen one, you must understand, saying no does not make you unloving. It makes you obedient. Heaven never called you to fund everyone's comfort. You were called to steward resources for divine purpose. The same way Jesus multiplied bread for the multitude, he also walked away from entire crowds when the assignment shifted. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay. Some are assignments, others are distractions. Some come to test your heart, others come to test your boundaries. You are stepping into a season where divine alignment will replace emotional attachment. The Spirit is removing those who drain and sending those who build. The hands that only took will release, and the hands that lift will appear. Chosen one, when you start cutting off wrong associations, it will feel lonely at first. You may question yourself, you may even grieve. But remember, heaven cannot fill what hell still occupies. When you release the counterfeit, you make room for the covenant. You are not rejecting people, you are protecting purpose. You are not being cold, you are being wise. The resources heaven gives you are holy. They are meant to fund kingdom assignments, not codependent attachments. Every wrong association you let go of is an act of faith that tells heaven, I trust you to send what's right. And heaven responds to faith. Here is your prophetic truth. Your financial freedom will multiply the moment you protect your relational boundaries. Some of the lack you faced wasn't because you failed. It was because you were surrounded by spiritual leeches draining your momentum. But today, that ends. From this day forward, you will see clearly. You will discern motives. You will give where God instructs, not where guilt demands. You will no longer pour your oil into cracked vessels. Chosen one, your circle determines your ceiling. So let heaven handpick your circle. Let him align you with divine partners, people who see your calling, not just your contributions. Those who will pray with you, build with you, and celebrate you even when they gain nothing from it. As you obey, divine connections will begin to appear, unexpected alliances that multiply what you have. You'll notice your energy return, your clarity sharpen, your finances stretch further. Because alignment creates acceleration. You are entering a new atmosphere now, one of protection, purity, and purpose. Heaven is closing old doors, but not to punish you. It's preparing you for partnerships that carry power. Lift your hands and declare, I release every wrong association. I open my heart to divine alignment. The shift begins here, chosen one. The hands that once drained, you will lose access, and the ones God sends next will help you rise higher than you've ever been before. Chosen one, listen carefully, because what I'm about to say carries deep weight. The third trap that steals from the anointed is debt, not just the kind that shows up on paper, but the kind that coils around your spirit. Debt is more than a number. It's a chain. It's a spiritual system designed by the world to keep heaven's people bound to cycles of servitude. You think you owe a bank, but in truth, the real debt is your peace, your energy, your focus. Debt is one of the most subtle prisons ever built because it doesn't feel like captivity at first. It feels like opportunity. It dresses itself as convenience, progress, or reward. It whispers, you can have it now. Don't wait. You deserve this. And before you know it, your divine energy, the same energy that should be fueling your purpose, is now spent worrying about due dates, minimum payments, and mounting interest. The enemy doesn't need to destroy your destiny if he can distract it. Chosen one, I know this battle too well. There was a season when I was buried under bills, constantly praying for miracles while still making the same choices that kept me trapped. Every time I took a step forward spiritually, something financial pulled me back. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't focus. I was worshiping with my mouth, but worrying with my mind. Until one day the Spirit said, you can't serve two masters, faith and fear. You must choose. That moment shattered me, but it also freed me. You see, debt doesn't just drain money. It drains creativity. It dulls your discernment. It whispers lies about your worth and makes you believe you must always hustle just to survive. It convinces you that abundance is for them, not for you. But that's not God's plan. Heaven never intended you to be enslaved by man-made systems. The enemy uses debt as a spiritual leash to pull you away from divine flow, because when your thoughts are consumed by survival, you stop dreaming in faith. Chosen one, it's time to break free. Not by panic, not by shame, but by wisdom and strategy. Freedom doesn't come overnight, it comes through divine steps. Every bill you pay intentionally, every expense you cut, every seed you save, these are acts of spiritual warfare. Each one declares, I am no longer a servant to the system. I am a steward of heaven. When you begin to shift your perspective, even your smallest decisions carry power. Every dollar you free from debt becomes a soldier that works for your destiny. Every sacrifice you make in obedience multiplies in ways you cannot yet see. And don't miss this, God will meet your effort with miracles. He will multiply your discipline with divine provision. Unexpected opportunities will start showing up, not because luck changed, but because alignment did. When heaven sees a chosen one walking in financial integrity, doors open that money can't buy. Favor begins to flow. Partnerships appear. Burdens lift. Because you've proven to heaven that you can be trusted with overflow. Chosen one, refuse to live under the lie that everyone is in debt. The world normalizes bondage because it fears what happens when the righteous become financially free. A chosen one, without chains, is unstoppable, because when your money is no longer mastered by fear, it becomes a weapon for good, for building, giving, healing, and expanding God's kingdom on earth. You may not break free all at once, but step by step, you will feel the weight lift. One payment at a time, one decision at a time, one declaration at a time. Heaven doesn't rush deliverance, it refines you through it. And when you finally walk out of that cage, you'll realize debt was never about dollars, it was about destiny. The enemy wasn't after your money, he was after your freedom, your creativity, your capacity to think big and act boldly. But today, that ends. The Spirit of God is saying, rise up, anointed one. Take back your peace. Take back your authority. You were created to lend, not borrow. You were called to fund visions, not debts. You are meant to carry wealth that flows, not chains that bind. So, speak it. Now I break agreement with financial bondage. I align myself with divine provision. I walk in supernatural freedom. Chosen one. I declare this over you the same way I once had to declare it over myself. The yoke of debt is breaking. The weight on your shoulders is lifting. You will no longer serve numbers. Numbers will serve you. You will no longer chase payment. Provision will chase you. And when that happens, when you finally taste true financial peace, you will understand what freedom really feels like. The kind that no system, no lender, no enemy can ever take away. Your chains are being broken in the unseen. Walk like it's already done. Chosen. One, let this sink deep into your spirit, because this next trap has kept many anointed ones walking in circles of lack, even while praying for abundance. The fourth trap is financial ignorance, the quiet destroyer that steals not through attack but through unawareness. You can be spiritually powerful, emotionally strong, and deeply prayerful, and still remain bound if you do not understand how money works. The truth is, heaven does not only reward prayer, heaven rewards preparation. You can cry out for blessings, but if your hands cannot hold what you're asking for, the overflow will slip through your fingers. Chosen one. This is where the enemy plays his most subtle game. He cannot curse what God has blessed, but he can confuse what God has given, and confusion leads to carelessness. Many times the blessing comes, the opportunity, the increase, the unexpected provision, but because wisdom was missing, it vanishes as quickly as it came. I've lived through this lesson myself. There was a time I prayed earnestly for financial breakthrough. I fasted, I declared, I sowed, and the money came, but I didn't know how to manage it. I gave impulsively, spent emotionally, and invested blindly. Within weeks, I was back where I started, wondering why heaven's favor seemed temporary. Then one day the Spirit said to me, I am not withholding blessings. I am waiting for you to become the kind of vessel that can contain them." That word shook me, because I realized my prayer life was strong, but my structure was weak. Chosen. One faith without wisdom is fire without direction. It burns bright, but doesn't build. God does not just want to bless you. He wants to trust you. He wants to know that when wealth arrives, it will not destroy you. That's why He trains you through knowledge. Financial ignorance is not about intelligence, it's about neglect. The enemy knows if he can keep you afraid of learning, afraid of numbers, afraid of discipline, he can keep you dependent on others for the rest of your life. But your Father has called you higher. You see, financial wisdom is not worldly, it's divine. The same Spirit that gives you revelation for your purpose can give you revelation for your provision. God is not glorified by confusion. He is glorified when His people walk in clarity, order, and excellence. You were never meant to stumble through life guessing about money. You were designed to master it. Because money in the hands of the righteous becomes a weapon, a tool to build, bless, and liberate. Chosen one. There is a difference between praying for rain and building a storehouse. Too many of the chosen pray for the rain, but never prepare the ground. You ask for overflow, yet your budget leaks. You ask for wealth, but your habits waste it. You ask for expansion, but you haven't strengthened your foundation. The Spirit of wisdom is calling you to rise, study, learn, seek counsel, read about stewardship, understand how to save, how to invest, how to multiply what's been placed in your hands. You don't need to become a financial expert, just a faithful student. I know it feels intimidating, but every bit of knowledge you gain becomes light in an area where darkness once ruled. Every new insight is a key that unlocks another door. Every principle you apply becomes a shield that guards your resources. And here's what's beautiful: once you begin walking in wisdom, provision begins to follow you naturally. You stop chasing blessings, and blessings start chasing you. Because heaven invests in what heaven can trust. Chosen. One, hear this prophetic truth: God cannot bless poor stewardship. He may send the opportunity, but He will not pour abundance into hands that refuse to build discipline. It's not punishment, it's preparation, because overflow without order leads to overflow without peace. So, today, break the curse of ignorance. Refuse to remain blind in an area God is calling you to master. If you feel behind, it's okay. Grace covers the delay. What matters is your decision now. When you commit to grow, heaven commits to guide. I declare over you, wisdom will flow like water. Understanding will rise within you. What once confused you will now make sense. The same Spirit that reveals mysteries will reveal management. You will not perish for lack of knowledge. You will prosper through divine understanding. Chosen one. Your days of confusion are over. From this moment forward, your finances will no longer control you. You will control them. And as you do, heaven will entrust you with more, not because you asked louder, but because you finally walked wiser. Chosen one. This trap is one of the most dangerous because it hides behind something pure, your compassion. It's called emotional giving, and it steals more than just money. It drains your strength, clouds your discernment, and delays your destiny. You were created with a heart that feels deeply. When others hurt, you hurt. When someone cries, your spirit moves. That sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a mark of your divine design. But the enemy studies that tenderness and uses it against you. He knows he can't stop you from giving, so he tricks you into giving where God never asked you to. He sends people who pull on your emotions, friends, family, even spiritual voices who use guilt and flattery to get you to open your hand before you open your heart in prayer. They say, if you really loved God, you'd help. And because your heart is kind, you do. But not every cry is your assignment. Not every need is your responsibility. I learned this lesson through tears. There was a time I gave constantly to everyone who asked. Everywhere I felt pity. I thought I was walking in love, but after every gift, I felt empty, not blessed. Then, one night the Spirit whispered to me, "You're giving from emotion, not instruction." That moment changed me forever. Chosen one, heaven rewards obedience, not impulse. Giving is holy, but only when directed by the Holy Spirit. When God tells you to give, it comes with peace, not pressure. When the enemy pushes you to give, it comes with confusion and exhaustion. One produces joy, the other produces regret. Even Jesus did not heal everyone. He moved only when the Father spoke. That's divine order. You too must learn to give with discernment. Your resources are sacred. They are not random coins. They are divine tools meant to build the vision God placed in you. When you give out of guilt, you scatter seed into barren soil. But when you give out of revelation, you plant into destiny itself. The difference isn't how much you give, it's who told you to give. So from this day, pause before you release anything. Ask, Lord, is this where you want me to sow? That one question can protect your purpose. Remember, sometimes love says yes, but wisdom says wait. Chosen one. It's not wrong to give, it's wrong to give blindly. You were never meant to fund everyone's journey. You are called to fuel divine assignments. When you give with guidance, heaven multiplies your seed. When you give from emotion, the blessing evaporates. Declare this now: I will no longer give from guilt. I will give from guidance. My compassion is governed by wisdom. As you walk in that truth, you'll notice the difference. Your finances will stop leaking, your peace will remain steady, and your giving will finally bear fruit, not because you gave more, but because you gave right. Chosen one, your generosity is not your weakness, it is your weapon. But in this new season, your weapon will be sharpened with discernment. No more emotional giving. Only prophetic giving guided by peace, anchored in purpose, and multiplied by heaven. Chosen one. This next trap is silent, invisible, and deadly. It doesn't roar like fear or shout like temptation. It whispers, and that whisper has stolen more dreams, money, and miracles than any visible enemy ever could. It's the trap of procrastination, the spirit of delay that convinces the chosen to wait for a better time. Procrastination is not laziness. It's hesitation wrapped in good intentions. It makes you say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next year, until the opportunity that heaven opened for you quietly closes. Or chosen one. You are not just delaying a task, you are delaying destiny. Heaven moves through timing, and when divine timing meets hesitation, potential dies. Every instruction God gives you carries a window of power. When you act within that window, favor flows. When you wait, the atmosphere shifts, and what should have been easy becomes heavy. The enemy knows this. He doesn't need to destroy your vision, he just needs to delay your obedience. Because delayed obedience is still disobedience. You pray for open doors, yet when God opens, one fear tells you, you're not ready. And instead of stepping through, you study the door. You overthink, you analyze, you hesitate. But hear this clearly, the world is not waiting on your perfection. It's waiting on your obedience. God never said move when you're fully prepared. He said move when I say move. When Peter stepped out of the boat, the water didn't become solid until his foot touched it. You'll never see the miracle if you don't take the step. I know what it's like to delay. I remember a time when God told me to start something that scared me, a project that required faith, resources, and courage. I told myself I'll do it once things settle down. But nothing ever did. Doors started closing. Peace faded. And one day the Spirit said to me, "The moment you move, provision will appear." I obeyed, trembling, but the moment I did, everything I needed showed up. Timing wasn't waiting on resources. Resources were waiting on timing. Chosen one procrastination isn't just a habit. It's a spirit, and its goal is to starve your destiny. Every time you delay, it steals not only time, but also trust. Because heaven operates on faith, and faith requires movement. You say, "What if I fail?" But failure is not your enemy. Stagnation is. Failure teaches. Delay only drains. The enemy wants you to fear mistakes so much that you never make progress. But God would rather correct your direction than push a motionless vessel. There is something you've been meaning to do, something God told you long ago. Start that business, write that book, begin that ministry, change that habit. You've been waiting for a sign, but chosen one, this is your sign. The time is now. Heaven is saying, move, act, build. You are carrying visions that were never meant to stay in your imagination. Every day you wait, those seeds lose momentum. You are anointed for execution, not endless preparation. The first step may not feel powerful, but it's prophetic. It signals to heaven that you are ready. Chosen one. Understand this, the blessing is not at the starting line, it's in the movement. Provision is released after you act, not before. When you move, the oil flows. When you wait, it stalls. Don't let the enemy deceive you with the lie of someday. Someday is not on heaven's calendar. Only now exists. God says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." Do you not perceive it? That means it's already in motion, but it's waiting for your participation. Shake off the spirit of delay. Rise up. You've planned enough, prayed enough, doubted enough. The season of waiting is over. This is the season of walking. Say this aloud: I break agreement with delay. I reject hesitation. I move when heaven moves. Chosen one. The time you thought you lost will be redeemed. Every moment you thought wasted will return, multiplied. Because when you finally act, heaven accelerates what was slowed. God will compress the years you thought were gone into one season of divine speed. So step now, move now, speak now. The world is waiting on your obedience, not your perfection. Heaven is watching, ready to release what's been held up. And as you walk forward, you'll see what you were waiting for was never delayed. It was waiting for you. Chosen one. This trap is perhaps one of the most subtle and deadly of all: laziness in purpose. It doesn't always look like lying down or doing nothing. Sometimes it hides beneath busyness, distraction, or confusion. It is the slow drift away from your divine assignment, the quiet surrender of what God told you to build. You were not created for average. You were designed for divine execution. But the moment a chosen one loses focus on their purpose, everything in life begins to lose rhythm. Provision slows, doors close, even your joy begins to fade. Because heaven finances vision, not idleness. You see, the enemy doesn't have to destroy your calling to stop it. He just has to make you too tired, too discouraged, or too distracted to move in it. And once you stop moving, the flow of divine provision begins to dry up. Because your money, your influence, your peace, they are all connected to your purpose. Chosen one. You cannot abandon what heaven assigned to you and still expect heaven's supply to keep flowing. The moment you neglect your calling, you step out of alignment with your source. There was a time I wrestled with this very thing. I felt called to create, to teach, to speak, but I hesitated. I told myself I was waiting on confirmation, but truthfully, I was avoiding the pressure of obedience. The longer I waited, the heavier life felt. Nothing seemed to work. Finances slowed. Opportunities vanished. Then one night I cried out, "God, why does it feel like everything's blocked?" And he answered, "Because you stopped doing what I anointed you to do." That moment broke me, but it also awakened me. I realized heaven doesn't bless comfort zones. It blesses obedience. The oil flows only where purpose is active. Chosen one. Hear me clearly, you cannot expect divine provision if you're building outside your divine purpose. You can work hard, but if you're in the wrong field, your effort will always feel empty. You can be busy all day, but busyness without direction is just motion without progress. Your anointing is like a key. It opens doors only in the area of your assignment. When you work within your calling, everything aligns, ideas flow, favor increases, even money begins to find you. But when you drift from that calling, it's like trying to dig a well in dry ground, exhausting and unfruitful. The enemy wants you stuck in spiritual fatigue, tired enough to stop creating, but not tired enough to surrender completely. He wants you lukewarm, existing, but not expanding. But this is the moment you break that cycle. You are not lazy because you don't care, you're tired because you've been fighting in the wrong direction. The Spirit is calling you back to your original assignment, the one that still burns quietly in your chest. The dream you've buried, the gift you've ignored, the idea you keep postponing, that is your key to divine provision. Don't mistake waiting for wisdom with hiding from responsibility. God gave you something only you can carry: a message, a mission, a mantle. And when you walk in it, everything attached to you begins to awaken. You were not created to chase money. You were created to create value. You were not called to survive. You were anointed to build. The moment you return to your true work, heaven reopens the supply line. Chosen one. I know the road gets heavy. You may have tried before and failed. You may have poured your energy into things that bore no fruit. But this time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And that experience has made you wiser, stronger, and more precise. The Spirit says, rise and build again. Your purpose hasn't expired, it's been waiting for your return. When you put your hands back to the work heaven gave you, you'll notice how fast things shift. Ideas will reignite, peace will return, provision will accelerate, because obedience restores order. So speak this now with authority. I will not abandon my calling. I will not neglect my gift. I will build what God has trusted me to build. Laziness in purpose is not just about inactivity, it's about misalignment. And today, you are realigning. Heaven is reactivating your purpose and reigniting your drive. Chosen. 1. Your destiny depends on your diligence. Pick up what you once laid down. Return to what you were born for, because when you work, your purpose provision chases you, and when you honor your assignment, abundance honors you. Chosen. 1. This trap is quiet but cruel. It doesn't come through attack or loss, it enters through sight. It's called comparison, and it has robbed more destinies, stolen more joy, and drained more provision than you can imagine. The trap of comparison begins the moment you look at someone else's life and start to measure your worth by their results. You see their progress, their success, their possessions, and somewhere deep inside a small voice whispers, "You're behind." That whisper isn't the voice of God. It's the voice of distraction, because the moment you start comparing, you step out of divine alignment and into spiritual confusion. Chosen one, you were never meant to copy anyone. You were created to carry something no one else has. Your purpose is not supposed to look like theirs. Your timing is not supposed to match theirs. Heaven wrote a completely different script for your life, one that can't be duplicated or rushed. But the enemy knows that if he can make you feel inadequate, he can manipulate your money, your mindset, and your mission. He'll whisper, "Look at how fast they're growing. Look at what they're driving. Look at where they live." And before you know it, you start spending beyond your means, chasing after things that have nothing to do with your calling. Comparison doesn't just steal joy, it steals strategy. It shifts your focus from building to performing. You stop asking, "Lord, what do you want me to do next?" and start asking, "How can I catch up to them?" But catching up is an illusion, because destiny isn't a race, it's a revelation. I remember when I fell into this trap myself. I looked at others doing what I dreamed of doing: bigger platforms, faster results, more recognition. I began to question my pace and even my purpose. I spent money trying to look like I had arrived, rather than investing it where God was truly leading me. And the more I imitated, the emptier I felt. Then, one night, the Spirit spoke softly but firmly. "You cannot walk in their grace, because their grace is not your garment." That truth shook me to my core. God was reminding me that every chosen one has a unique design, a frequency that only heaven recognizes. When you try to wear another's armor, it won't fit. It will weigh you down. Chosen one, hear me, your blessings are custom built. They will arrive on divine schedule, not on human timelines. You are not behind, you are in process. The anointing on your life requires refinement, not rushing. Every delay, every lesson, every closed door has been preparing you for something that imitation could never achieve. When you compare, you lose your authenticity, and authenticity is the key that unlocks heaven's favor. God doesn't anoint copies, he anoints originals. He blesses the version of you that walks in truth, not the version trying to blend in. So today, release the need to compete. Release the pressure to prove. What belongs to you cannot miss you. And what was never yours will never fit you, no matter how hard you try. Chosen, one comparison creates unnecessary spending, emotional exhaustion, and spiritual imbalance. It makes you buy what you don't need to impress people who don't even notice. But when you return to your lane, peace returns too. Your path may look slower, but it's stronger. Your journey may feel hidden, but it's holy. While others are running in circles, chasing validation, you are being built in silence for impact. And when it's time, your manifestation will not be small, it will be undeniable. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. The harvest that's coming your way will make sense of every season you thought was wasted. Say this with me now: I break agreement with comparison. I trust the pace of my process. I celebrate others without losing sight of my own calling. When you say those words, the chains of envy begin to fall, because your eyes are shifting back to your purpose, back to the lane heaven carved just for you. Chosen. 1. Your success will not look like anyone else's, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Stay authentic, stay grounded, stay in your lane, because the moment you stop comparing, you start accelerating. And remember, this truth imitation may look like progress, but authenticity produces power. Chosen one. This final trap is the most dangerous of them all because it disguises itself as self-confidence. It's the trap of ignoring divine wisdom when the Spirit of God whispers, but we lean instead on logic, emotion, or advice that feels safer than faith. God never leaves his chosen ones without guidance. The Spirit speaks daily in dreams, in subtle nudges, in moments of stillness. But the enemy's goal is simple: to drown out that voice with noise. He'll fill your mind with doubt, hurry, or pride so that you question what heaven has already confirmed. Chosen one. There are times when divine wisdom will not make sense. It may tell you to wait when everyone else is rushing or to move when everything looks uncertain. But obedience is not about understanding, it's about trust. Every time you ignore that whisper, you trade divine timing for human reasoning, and that exchange always costs more than it gives. I remember a moment when I faced a major decision, a business deal that looked perfect on paper. Every number lined up, every voice around me said, "This is it." But deep inside I felt a quiet stirring. Don't do it. I tried to silence that voice, convincing myself it was just fear. I went ahead, and within months it collapsed. I lost money, peace, and time. But more than that, I realized how easily success can blind you to stillness. That experience taught me something priceless. The Holy Spirit is not just a comforter, he is the ultimate financial advisor. He sees traps before they form. He knows the seasons, when to plant, when to wait, and when to reap. And if you listen, he will protect you from losses that wisdom alone can't predict. Chosen. 1. Divine wisdom is not optional, it's survival. Every time you lean into that still, small voice, you step into supernatural strategy. Heaven's instructions may sound small. Save this, wait there. Don't buy that, speak now, but each one carries the power to shift your future. The world calls it intuition. We call it revelation. And it's your greatest defense against spiritual theft. From this day forward, make it your vow: I will no longer ignore divine direction. When God whispers, pause. When he warns, listen. When he instructs, obey quickly. Because that one moment of obedience could save you years of struggle or thousands of dollars in loss. Chosen one. Heaven's wisdom will never lead you wrong. The more you trust it, the more abundance begins to flow, not forced, but guided, not random, but intentional. You are entering a season where your ears will be sharper, your spirit quieter, and your obedience faster. And as you walk in alignment, every trap will be revealed before it reaches you. Listen, obey, move in faith, and watch as divine wisdom becomes your unshakable wealth. Tutian. Now that these traps have been revealed, the chains that once held your finances, your focus, and your faith are breaking. What was once hidden has been exposed, and what once delayed you has lost its power. This moment right now is not random. It is your Kairos moment, your divine intersection where revelation meets release. You are standing at the threshold of supernatural transfer. Heaven is aligning every resource, every connection, every opportunity that belongs to your destiny. The leaks are sealed, the diversions are closed, the flow is returning purified, accelerated, and divinely protected. Chosen one, walk forward in wisdom. Guard your heart, your time, and your seed. Every act of discipline you make now becomes a declaration of dominion. You are no longer a borrower of peace or a beggar of blessings. You are a steward of divine abundance. May your hands multiply what they touch. May discernment lead every decision. May your spirit remain open to the whispers of divine instruction. You are stepping into a new rhythm, one of overflow order and divine confidence. If this word found you in perfect timing, that is your confirmation. Type 1111 in the comments as a sign of agreement with heaven's alignment. Share this message so that another chosen one can awaken to their freedom. Go now in faith, anointed one. The traps are behind you, the transfer is before you, and the glory is already moving in your favor.